go over IRS Form 1116, Foreign Tax Credit. This form is used for individuals, estates, and trusts and may be attached to Form 1040, 1040SR, 1040NR, 1041, or 990T. You may be able to claim the foreign tax credit without filing IRS Form 1116 if you choose to make the election. By making this election, the foreign tax credit limitation, which is contained in lines 15 through 23, will not apply to you. However, this election is only available if you meet all three of the following conditions. 1. All of your foreign source gross income was passive category income, which includes most interest and dividends. 2. All of the income and any foreign taxes paid on it were reported to you on a qualified payee statement. These statements might include Form 1099 DIV, Form 1099 INT, Schedule K1, Schedule K3, or other similar substitute statements. And 3, your total creditable foreign taxes are not more than $300 or $600 for married filers, taxpayers filing a joint return. This election is not available to estates and trusts. But if you do make this election, the following rules apply. You cannot carry over to or from any other year foreign taxes paid or accrued in a tax year to which the election applies. You are still required to account for the general rules on determining whether a tax is creditable, and you are still required to reduce the taxes available for credit by any amount that you would have entered on line 12 of Form 1116. You may need to use separate schedules and forms to reconcile prior year foreign tax carryover, foreign tax return redeterminations, or to file for an extension to assess tax related to contested foreign income taxes. You may be able to file a credit for certain foreign taxes. However, the following taxes are not available for a credit. 1. Taxes paid to a foreign country that you do not legally owe, to include amounts eligible for refund by the country. 2. Taxes paid to a foreign country that are offset or reduced by a tax credit. 3. Taxes imposed by a foreign country only because you could claim a foreign tax credit against the U.S. tax liability for such foreign income taxes paid or accrued. 4. Taxes imposed by and paid to certain foreign countries designated by the Secretary of State as countries that repeatedly support acts of terrorism, countries with which the United States does not have or conduct diplomatic relations, or countries whose governments are not recognized by the United States and not otherwise eligible to purchase defense articles or services under the Arms Export Control Act. A list of these countries can be found in IRS Publication 514. 5. Foreign taxes withheld on a dividend from a corporation if you have not held the stock for at least 16 days within the 31-day holding period beginning 15 days before the ex-dividend date. 6. Foreign taxes withheld on a dividend to the extent that you have to make related payments on positions in substantially similar or related property. 7. Foreign taxes withheld on income or gain from property if you have not held the property for at least 16 days within the 31-day period beginning 15 days before the date on which you have the right to receive payment. 8. Foreign taxes withheld on income or gain from property to the extent that you have to make payments on positions in substantially similar or related property. 9. Foreign taxes that are used to provide, directly or indirectly, a subsidy to you, a person or business related to you, or any party conducting a transaction with you. 10. taxes paid or accrued to a foreign country in connection with the purchase of or sale of oil or gas extracted in that country if you do not have an economic interest in the oil or gas and the purchase price or sales price is different from the fair market value at the time of purchase or sale. 11. Foreign taxes accrued or paid on income for which you are claiming an exclusion on Form 8873 Extraterritorial Income Exclusion. 12. The disqualified portion of any foreign tax paid or accrued in connection with a covered asset acquisition. And finally, 13. Foreign taxes disallowed under Section 965G in Regulations 1.965-5. The IRS form instructions contain additional information on foreign currency conversion, foreign tax redeterminations, income from sources outside the United States, and categories of income. At the top of the form, you will see these categories of income reported as A. Section 951A category income, B. Foreign branch category income, C. Passive category income, D. General category income, E. Section 901J income, F. Certain income resourced by treaty, and G. Lump sum distributions. For lump sum distributions, the form instructions do contain a worksheet to calculate and enter the appropriate amount for lump sum distributions. Please note, if you are reporting on more than one category, you must use a separate Form 1116 for each category of income listed. So check only one box on each form and report all amounts in US dollars except for where it is specified in Part 2. At the top above that, you'll enter your name and then identifying number as shown on your tax return. So this is a two-page document. There is Part 1, which contains the taxable income or loss from sources outside the United States. Part 2 is the foreign taxes paid or accrued. Part 3 helps you calculate and determine the credit. And then Part 4 is a summary of credits from all of the separate parts 3. So go back to the top. In Part 1, in line 1A, you'll enter the gross income from sources within the country shown above. So up to 3 columns of countries that you can enter. And then you can enter the gross income from each country. You can enter the numbers as appropriate, and then check on line 1B if line 1A is compensation for personal services as an employee and your total compensation is $250,000 or more, and you used an alternative basis to determine the source. In line 2, we will enter expenses that were definitely related to the income on line 1A. And for this, you will need to attach a statement. In line 3, you will enter the pro rata share of other deductions not definitely related. 3A contains certain itemized deductions or the standard deduction. 3B, other deductions, for which you will need to attach a statement. In line 3C, you'll add lines 3A and 3B. In line 3D, you'll enter gross foreign source income as defined by the instructions. 3E, gross income from all sources. And then in lines 3F and 3G, you will calculate to come to a final determination. So let's start with 3A. certain itemized deductions, or the standard deduction. So you'll enter medical expenses, which are contained on line 4 of your Schedule A, general sales taxes, which are on line 5A, and real estate taxes for your home on line 5B. If you do not itemize deductions, then enter the standard deduction on line 3A. For line 3B, you'll enter any other deductions that don't definitely relate to a specific type of income. For example, alimony paid for certain qualifying alimony payments contained on Schedule 1 would go into line 3B. On line 3D, you'll enter the foreign source income from the category that you checked above Part 1. You'll include any foreign earned income that you excluded on Form 2555, but do not include any other exempt income. And if you had income from more than one country, you must enter the income from only one country in each column. For line 3E, you'll enter your gross income from all sources in all categories, both U.S. and foreign. For line 3F, you'll divide 3D by line 3E. This represents the proportion of your income attributed to that foreign country. You should round this off to at least 4 decimal places. For example, if your result is 0.8756782, you would round this number to 0.8757. Not 876, not 88. However, do not enter a number greater than 1. For line 3G, you'll simply multiply the total deduction by the percentage in line 3F. In line 4, you will enter the pro rata share of interest expense according to the form instructions. In line 4A, you'll enter home mortgage interest, for which there's a worksheet in the form instructions. In line 4B, you'll enter all other interest expense. This could include investment interest, interest incurred in a trade or business, and passive activity interest. If you are a U.S. citizen, resident alien, or domestic estate, and your gross foreign source income does not exceed $5,000, you can allocate all of your interest expense to U.S. source income. Otherwise, each type of interest expense is apportioned separately using an asset method. Line 5, you'll enter capital losses. You'll enter losses from foreign sources, and if you have capital losses, you may need to see the form instructions for additional information on required adjustments. For line 6, you'll add lines 2, 3G, 4A, 4B, and 5. And you'll add them across the board to arrive at a total number on line 6. For line 7, you'll subtract the number on line 6 from the number that you entered on line 1A. You'll enter the result on this as well as on line 15 on page 2, right here. In part 2, you will determine the foreign taxes paid or accrued by country. So you will need to use each row in accordance with the associated column. So for example, column A in part 1, which is France, would now become France-specific information on row A, and the United Kingdom specific information in column B would become United Kingdom specific information on row B. So you must claim this credit for either taxes paid during the year or accrued during the year. You must also calculate the taxes paid both in foreign currency and in US dollars, and whether the taxes were withheld at the source or if you paid them directly. So you'll enter the date that your taxes were paid. In foreign currency, dividends, rents, and royalties, and interest, other foreign taxes paid or accrued, and then you'll convert this into US dollars. You'll enter the total of foreign taxes paid or accrued by adding columns Q through T, and you will enter this total in US dollars. To arrive at the total number on line 8, you will add lines A through C, column U, and you'll enter the total here and then on line 9 just below. In part 3, we're going to calculate the tax credit. You'll start by entering the total foreign taxes paid or accrued for the category of income checked above part 1. This is the number that you bring down from line 8. On line 10, you'll enter the sum of any carryover of foreign taxes. You should see this on Schedule B, line 3, column 14, plus any carrybacks to the current tax year. If your income was Section 951A category income, where you check the box A above Part 1, you'll leave this line blank. In line 11, you'll enter the total of lines 9 and 10. For line 12, you may have to reduce the foreign taxes that you paid by the following. Taxes on income excluded on Form 2555, taxes on income from Puerto Rico that is exempt from U.S. tax, taxes on income from America Samoa that you excluded on Form 4563, taxes on combined foreign oil and gas income, taxes on foreign mineral income, reduction for failure to file Form 5471, reduction for failure to file Form 8865, reduction of taxes or credit due to international boycott operations, and taxes due to a foreign tax credit splitting event. For more information, please see the form instructions. In line 13, you'll enter foreign taxes that were reclassified under a high tax kickout, and according to the instructions, you must adjust the foreign taxes paid or accrued if they relate to passive income that is treated as other category income because of high taxation. You will enter this as a negative number, the amount of your foreign taxes related to that income. For line 16, you'll enter, line 14, you'll combine lines 11, 12, and 13. This is the amount of foreign taxes either paid or accrued that is available for credit. On line 15, you'll enter the amount that you calculated and determined in line 7. This is the taxable income or loss from sources outside the United States for the category of income that you selected. For line 16, you'll enter adjustments to the number in line 15 according to the instructions. These adjustments are as follows. 1. Adjustments for disallowed business losses under Section 461L. 2. Allocation of foreign losses. 3. Allocation of U.S. losses. 4. Recapture of prior year overall foreign loss accounts. 5. Recapture of separate limitation loss accounts. 6. Recapture of overall domestic loss accounts. On line 17, you'll combine lines 15 and 16, and this will become your net foreign source taxable income. If the result is 0 or less, you have no foreign tax credit for the category of income that you selected, and you may skip lines 18 through 24. However, if you're completing more than one Form 1116, then you must complete line 20. In line 18, for individuals, you'll enter the amount from line 15 of your Form 1040, 1040 SR, or 1040 NR. For estates and trusts, you'll enter your taxable income without the deduction for your exemption. And if you've figured your tax using lower rates for qualified dividends or capital gains, you may need to refer to the form instructions that contain a worksheet specifically for qualified dividends and capital gains. For line 19, you will divide line 17 by line 18. If line 17 is more than line 18, enter the number 1. In line 20, for individuals, you will enter the total of line 16 from your 1040, 1040 SR, or 1040 NR, line 16, and Schedule 2, line 2. For estates and trusts, enter the amount from Schedule G on Form 1041, line A, or the total of Form 990T, Part 2, lines 2, 3, 4, and 6. Foreign estates and trusts should enter the amount on line 16 from your 1040 NR. Line 21, you will multiply line 20 by line 19, and this represents the maximum amount of your credit. For line 22, you'll enter the amount of any increase to your limitation as determined under the excess limitation rules of Section 960C. For line 23, you'll add lines 21 and 22 and enter the result here. For line 24, you will enter the smaller of line 14 or line 23. If this is the only Form 1116 that you are filing, you may skip the rest of the form and enter this amount on line 33. Otherwise, you will need to complete the appropriate line in Part 4. Part 4 contains a summary of credits from all separate Parts 3. So for lines 25 through 31, you will enter the credit for each of these. On line 32, you will add lines 25 through 31. For line 33, you'll enter the smaller of either line 20 or line 32. For line 34, you will enter any reduction of credit for international boycott operations. And finally, on line 35, you will subtract the amount on line 34 from line 33. And this is your foreign tax credit, which you will enter here and on Schedule 3, line 1 of your Form 1040, or Schedule G, line 2A of your Form 1041, or Part 3, line 1A of your Form 990T. This concludes our review of IRS Form 1116, Foreign Tax Credit. If you would like, you can find our article on our website. Simply go to teachmepersonalfinance.com, type in IRS Form 1116, and you should see our article. If you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please post them in the comment section. Thank you.